What's up, guys? This is Connery from Out of Work Outdoors, and today we're doing a video for one of our viewers, and he wanted to know how to throw a baitcaster. Okay, so I'm not the best at it, but since I've just learned it about a year ago, I'll go through some of the things that I learned as a beginner to help other beginners. Okay, so let's go over some of the basics of the reel. Every single baitcast reel out there is going to have some type of a mechanical brake on one side and a fancy magnetic or centrifugal, whatever it might be, on the other side. And it doesn't matter if it's right-handed or left-handed. It's all basically just flipped 180 of each other. So currently I have my Shimano on here, and it's on my Falcon Baku rod. It's a 7-foot medium heavy, which is kind of the basic all-around rod that most people will buy when they go with a baitcast setup. And what I want you to do, well, this is how I started, is turn your fancy brake completely off. So all the way off. And we're just going to mess with this knob right here first. Okay, so what you want to do is basically watch your weight. And I have it on 12-pound fluorocarbon because I've gotten used to some of the lines. But as for line choices, if you're a rookie and you haven't even hit the water yet, get something that's the cheap of the cheap, but get something that's at least 15-pound mono, or if you're gonna go with braid, get something big, like at minimum 30-pound braid. Okay, that's one of the mistakes I did when I was starting it out with the baitcasters is I would throw 6-pound line on this because I'm in the spinning world. I'm so used to running 6-pound line, and that's a big no-no in the baitcaster world. 6-pound line will backlash like crazy, and it really likes 10 or higher. Okay, so that's a rule of thumb. For the braids, you have to go at minimum 15-pound or higher, and this is just referring to some Power Pro that I threw on there originally, because it's just that's how it is. Like the baitcast reels, they tend to like the bigger lines. So for a starting line, I would say if you're gonna go with mono, 20-pound mono, it's a good starting line. Get anything you want, but get something that doesn't cost more than 10 bucks and gets you maybe 300 yards, 400 yards, because you're going to backlash a lot and you're going to end up cutting a lot of that line. And you're not even going to fish with it, so don't even get anything that's really expensive. So when you start off, make sure this is the clicker. I just call it a clicker. I'm pretty sure there's an official name for it. But make sure that's on, and make sure this is tight enough so where the line's not coming out. Okay, but what you want to do is, if you're just looking at it, get it to the point where, and this is let's see, what kind of weight is this? This is I think it's a ½ ounce or a little smaller than a ½ ounce. Use anything you want, but ½ ounce is a good point to start with. But anyways, you want to click it, and nothing's coming out. The spool's not spinning, and you want to go until the spool barely starts to go, and then back it off. Okay, back it off just a hair and do it again, and it's not going. Go up a little bit, loosen it up a little bit to the point where you can see the spool starting to spin right there, and that's where you really want to start off. Once you get really good, that's actually not where you want to be. Okay, but as a beginner, that's where you want to be at. And then also, once you get that done, right, I turned this completely off, and now you want to turn it completely on, all the way out. Once again, you're just trying to make a simple pitch or a simple cast, and this is not going to give you the biggest distance that you really want. This is just kind of set up to not give you backlashes. So once you get used to it, you can start fiddling with the controls, and it'll give you farther distances. This will probably maybe give you half of the potential that you can go. So basically what you want to do is you want a long sweeping cast, like kind of like that. You don't want any kind of whipping action at all, because that'll just cause the reel to backlash. That's really what you want to avoid. So like I said, it's pretty simple. You get like maybe a foot of line at the tip of the rod, a foot of line, and just cast it. like I said, it's a long sweeping cast. I always do it with 2 hands, so just long cast. That's it. You know, no whipping action. You don't want no whipping action in the baitcaster. That's the #1 problem I had when I first started throwing these. Is coming from a spinning reel world. You tend to whip it because when you whip it, it goes farther. But in the baitcast world, whipping doesn't really do too much, really. At least that's from what I've discovered. It's all about control. And you're trying to match the speed of the lure, or in this case the lead, to the speed of the spool. So if you think about that, it's a consistent cast. It's not a whipping action, because in a spinning reel, there is no moving parts, and the lure will pull the line. And baitcasters, if you can set them up right, yeah, wind's not going to be a problem. That's a big misconception. But anyways, you have your lead about a foot off the tip, and when you engage, just basically engage, hold the spool. You don't have to hold it in this case, but when you get good, you do have to hold the spool. And what you want to do is you want a long sweeping action. So up here, you want to sweep all the way and let go at the halfway point, or a little bit past the halfway point. You don't want to go all the way out here and then let it go. That's too far out. So what you want to do is just simply this. There you go. There you go. It landed about maybe 15 feet. No backlash. I wasn't even holding the spool. That's something later. Once you get good, you do want to hold the spool as soon as your lure touches the water. But for this case, yeah, almost no backlash. That's what you want to do. Nice and slow. Practice that before you go to anything else. No backlash. And that's what you gotta do. Once you can get like 100 of those down, then you can start working on other things. Once you get that down, then you can start playing with the magnetic drags, and then you can finally mess with this. But for the time being, I mean, if you just want to get the first 100 casts under control, that's what you gotta do. That's it. And when you're doing that, start getting used to putting your thumb on the spool at the end of the cast, because that's just gonna save, I would say, at least 50% of the backlashes. There you go. That's it. So that's how you get started. Once you get better at it, eventually you're gonna want to put this down to like the bare minimum, and this is almost on the free spool. And that's how baitcasters can outcast a spinning rod. And on top of that, you can outcast a spinning rod with the same line diameters if you're going to the bigger lines. I know in the spinning world, anything over 8 pounds, you're not going to get much distance. But on the baitcaster, it doesn't seem to matter as much. That's why I've really switched over to these guys now. Just because of that. Because you can run 15-20 pound line, and your distance is not dramatically shortened on the spinning rod. No backlashes. So if that helped you out, please like this video and show it to your friends, and maybe they would benefit from it as well. Because I wish I had this video back when I was learning, because I probably went through about 600 yards of line, expensive line too, and yeah, I finally got around to it, and that's what I started doing. So there you go. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Hey, if you watched this far already, I'm pretty sure you like what you've just seen, so please be sure to subscribe and check out our other videos. If you have any pictures you'd like to share with us, please post them up on our Facebook page or tag us on Instagram.